Welcome to a new episode of Democracy at the Crossroads, a platform that calls out everyone who poses a threat to democratic norms, values, and institutions. Today, our focus will be on student protests that have singed the American campuses in the last few months. What we see is that the approach of President Biden towards the student uprising in the US campuses is an exact replica of the stance of Prime Minister Modi towards students in India, who raised questions about his policies. President Biden is endorsing the use of police to quell student activism, just as Prime Minister Modi had done when police brutalities were captured on camera in Jawaharlal Nehru University and Jamia Millia Islamia. President Biden is branding the student protest anti-Semitic, just as Prime Minister Modi had called the protest anti-national. Of course, there is a basic difference. A large number of campuses in India today have become saffronized. A big section of youth in India has been brainwashed by the brazenly communal BJP and RSS propaganda. Most of them espouse glaringly anti-democratic sentiment. Militant Hinduism has become their credo. Islamophobia has become their guru mantra. A false sense of nationalism has been induced in them to defend the most obnoxious actions of a patently communal Modi administration. And that is where lies the difference between the Indian campuses and the US campuses. Many of the young men and women protesting in the US campuses are idealistic youth, as the youth anywhere should be. They believe in certain universal values, the real progressive values. That's the reason why most of these supporters of the Democratic Party, as the Democrats are seen more progressive compared to the Republicans with regard to their policy framework. The Democratic Party in US is just like the Congress Party in India. It's a centrist party. And the BJP in India is a replica of the Republican Party in the USA. These two parties are similar in their paranoia towards immigrants. They are united in their Islamophobic sentiment. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump, the foremost Republican leader today, openly represents the most regressive values in American politics. Just like Narendra Modi, the supreme BJP leader of India today. But there is a difference. Donald Trump has not succeeded yet in robbing the youth of that country of its idealism, the way Narendra Modi has succeeded in India. The young students in USA detest Trump's politics. They would rather cast their lot with Joe Biden. But the idealism of the American youth has not made them the blind supporters of Democratic Party in general and Joe Biden in particular. They have risen in revolt against Joe Biden's unconditional support to the fascist leadership of Israel, which is spearheading a genocide in the Palestinian territory.
I find that there are reasonable grounds to believe that the threshold indicating the commission of the crime of genocide against Palestinians as a group in Gaza has been met. Specifically, Israel has committed 3 acts of genocide with the requisite intent, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group.
These brave students are showing the world how American politics and American society is today held hostage by a slew of Jewish-controlled financial institutions. So much so that if you speak against the fascist policies of Israel anywhere in America, you will be branded as anti-Semitic. This is in the same way. If a student group dares to speak against the brazenly communal politics of Narendra Modi and company, then you, that group, will be dubbed as anti-national, an agent of Pakistan, a threat to national security. We saw this in JNU, we saw this in Jamia. American students today have shown that their idealism is intact by raising their voice against the American government's endorsement of Israeli genocide. These students are raising their voice knowing fully well that most of these universities are controlled by Jewish financial behemoths. The students there are in fact putting their career, rather their life at risk by protesting against the Israeli genocide. These brave students are sending out a message to the world. If you can't hold on to your idealism when you are young, you can never do it in your life. But it's a sorry spectacle that in Indian campuses as a whole, only a minuscule students are driven by that sense of idealism. As a matter of fact, the thinking of a majority of these students has been shadowed by the toxicity of communal politics. And unfortunately, that's a sad pointer to the future of Indian democracy.